my name is Maelyn and I'm here with
Mrs. Haynes. I teach 7 through 12 English.
And today I'm going to be interviewing her about the English club that she's doing.
Yeah.
So what is the English club? Like, what do you do in it?
So the English club kind of started because when I was in college, I was in a group called Sigma Tau Delta, which is the International English Honor Society for college. And they have a high school version called National English Honor Society, or NEHS. And they're also piloting a junior high version this year called the English Language Arts Society. And my college professor, she has become the president of the whole Sigma Tau Delta, the main group. And so she asked me if I would be willing to start a chapter here to kind of practice the junior high thing, see how that goes. And so we started it up. What the kids are going to mostly do is organize the library. We have to do a service project, and so that's the service project they've selected. Since we don't have a librarian, they will index all the books, put them on a system, keep track of them, help keep them checked out and checked in, order new books, try to keep the library up to date, all that kind of stuff. Because we're associated with NEHS, they have lots of scholarship opportunities and writing challenge opportunities, so they can write everything from creative letters or poems to journalism articles or critical papers to submit for chances at scholarships. Yeah, I think that's all.
So how long has the English club been going on? How long have you been doing this program?
My professor reached out to me at the beginning of August, and I think we kind of got the ball actually rolling around here about October. So we started in about October, and we'll just keep on going.
So I heard each kind of little group is reading their own book. What are all the books they're reading?
Yeah, so as one of the fun elements of the group, anyone who's doing any sort of creative writing, like any of our students here who are writing stories or poetry and want people to read them, other people in the group, they can send them out and the group will read them and give them feedback. And the other part is just doing a good old-fashioned book club. Mm-hmm. So the students all have selected some books that they wanted to read and they liked a lot, and I just typed them up in a list for them, and then they kind of picked them in different groups. Right now, I think there's a lot of rom-coms happening. Yeah. I think there is one classic. I think one group's reading Persuasion right now. But the idea is just, it's so much more fun to read a book and then talk to someone else who's read the book about the book. And the idea is just to kind of increase enjoyment from reading and a love for reading. It's less about being really intellectual and having deep conversations, but just enjoying reading.
Mm-hmm. So I also know some of the students were talking about going to a convention. So what is that? What do you do?
Yeah, so the college level, the Sigma Tau Delta level, they have a convention every year where college students submit creative stories, poetry, and critical papers. They also submit ideas for what's called a round table. So a round table would be I would say something like, I want to talk about parents in 18th century literature. And then I'd get a group of people together and we would all talk for a little bit, but then the whole entire room has a discussion about that. So those are the kinds of things that happen at the college convention, and then they always bring in 2 or 3 actual professional career writers who have won awards and are on renowned lists and all that kind of stuff. And then there's fun nights like an open mic night for people to just get up and read work, and something called bad poetry, where the idea is to read the worst poetry you could possibly read. So when I was in college one time, someone stood up there and read their Walmart shopping list and read it like poetry, just as a comedic event. And the high school chapters of NEHS are also welcome to attend. They can't submit any papers, but they can attend. So the goal is for us to be able to take a group of students up there. This year we'll be in St. Louis. It's in a different city every year. So with any luck, we'll be able to get some students together and go and do that and meet some authors and have some intellectual academic discussions for a weekend.
So you don't have to submit anything to get into that?
No, you don't have to submit anything as a student. because it's collegiate only. Like the high school chapters are allowed to attend, but not present stuff. So we would be able to go and attend. You don't have to submit anything there to go, for the sake of like costs and traveling in hotel rooms and stuff. The students here who will be able to go are the ones who are officially registered with the NEHS group, and it'll be based on participation in our like chapter events here, like how many meetings have they come to, how much do they participate in the book clubs, how much time are they volunteering in the library, all of that kind of stuff will kind of take into account. But yeah, the students won't have to submit any sort of work to get there, unless we have like 20 kids who end up like having the opportunity to go. Then I might be like, okay, write me a paper about why you deserve to go, but otherwise no.
So is this like your second time, because you said you went to something like this in college?
Yeah, so like I said, the convention is like the collegiate level thing, and so I went 3 different years in college to it. The first year was in Cincinnati, and then one of the years was also in St. Louis. When I was in the year, and then that last year was COVID, so it got canceled. I was supposed to go, but it got canceled. I lost my train of thought. So my first year was in Cincinnati, and then I went to St. Louis also. And when I went to St. Louis, I was the High Plains Regional Student Representative. So what that means is that I was the student in the entire High Plains region, which is kind of just like the whole middle of the United States, who served and spoke for the students. So I had to go early and attend the executive board meetings with the whole international organization president and all of the advisors and stuff, to serve on that as a student representative and kind of provide a student perspective, which meant that I had to lead a lot more things. And so I have been to the 2 conventions, and it's always really fun. It's just really fun to be around like-minded people and people who share your interest, because I mean, not everyone loves talking about books the way English nerds do, and so it's basically a giant place where English nerds get together and talk about our favorite things. Yeah, bad poetry night is always like the most fun and hilarious, but I think the greatest thing that I've gotten out of it is the connections that I made with people.
Yeah, definitely.
Like just getting to meet people and talk. And if we are able to take our group, I have been in talks with some of the other high school chapters that take groups every year about possibly setting up just like a high school student meet and greet, so that we would be able to sit and chat with other students from high schools that, you know, that are our students' ages, so it's not just a bunch of college students. Yeah. The other really fun thing about convention is getting to meet authors, like real authors, get their autographs, hear them talk about their craft and how they did it and why it's so important. I've met lots of authors this way. I've met Tiffany Jackson, I've met Jay Asher, I've met Alan Gratz, so many amazing people. This year the main author is Carl Phillips, so he's a poet, and he'll be talking about his book Now and Then, or Then and Now. Then the War, just kidding. And he'll be talking about his book, Then the War. So he'll be speaking, and I think there are like 3 or 4 other authors on the roster and on the schedule to speak, but he's like the mainliner. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.